What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, live for week number 1. The NFL is back. Week 1 NFL picks, as we do every year, every week of the regular season and the postseason. I break down each individual game, give you my winners, give you my losers of the season. And I'm going to give you the scores on top of that and let you know, which games I really like, which games I don't like so much. Typically, in these videos, in this setting, it's more casual, it's more for fun, and I kind of just break down the games and have some fun with it. Obviously, these aren't the games I'm telling you to bet on 100%, like put all your money on this game. If you want to check out like the games that I'm actually thinking about betting on, or the games that I like, then check out the best bets videos. But this is like a general breakdown for everybody, and to look at each individual matchup, and of course the games that I don't cover in the bets videos. So that's what this is for. We have a couple shout outs before we get started here. The first thing, which I'll get to at the end of the video, and I'll show you a tutorial because it's really cool, is of course you see the hat, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy, they actually changed up their pick'em this year, so it's very cool the way that you can go about putting in some of the, if you're a fantasy football player and you like to play daily fantasy, Underdog Fantasy has a lot of different options this year for pick'ems. It's almost like a combination of, putting some parlays together and also being able to play some fantasy football at the same time. So I'm going to showcase that at the end of the video. But if you would like to sign up to Underdog Fantasy, of course, they're still running that promotion of doubling your first deposit up to $100 using the promo code BLV. The link is in the description for Underdog Fantasy. Second thing, link also in the description. If you guys want to compete versus the rest of the BLVers, the rest of the community, the rest of the Discord, the rest of the viewers out there, then you can. And I'm talking about the BottomLineView Pick'em, which we're just doing on ESPN. It's absolutely free, zero money, $0, but you can compete and put your picks in every week. It's pretty easy. You get an email notification every week. So all that I do is I just quickly put in my picks, and then I get to beat Turtle every week at Pick'em. So it's a lot of fun. If you guys want to check that out, link is in the description. It's also at the pinned comment in the live chat. I'll also pin it in the comment section below after this video is over with. So check that out. The BLV Pick'em is back, and I might actually do like a prize for the winner. If we have enough people in there, I'll do a prize for the winner this year. I don't know what the prize is going to be, so don't stress me out, but I will do a prize for the winner. We'll see how it goes. What's going on, everybody in the chat? If you haven't already, make sure you do Gronk Spike, the like button. And if you are new and you enjoy the NFL, if you enjoy NFL picks, NFL previews, consider subscribing. Let's just say hello to the people because I'm nothing without the people. So we got Turtle, who says, "Let's go," with his best Brady impression. I'm sure he'll like that. Harleen Quinzel says, "Hi," with like 18 eyes. Bethel says, "We made it." Sing says, "Hello, Mitch. What's going on?" Bethel says, "Join the Pick'em and the Discord, y'all." Bethel, if you guys want a free W in Pick'em, and you think you can beat absolutely nobody in Pick'em, and you just want to give it a try, Bethel, you're guaranteed to beat him. I mean, guaranteed. He has the worst picks in the world. What's up, Edgar? Chris says, "Let's go Chargers" in the chat. Mr. Peter says, "What's up, Mitch?" JP Football Fanatics says, "Yo, Mitch, what's up? What's up, guys? Thank you for joining." Methan says, "What's up?" Edgar has got the Raiders this week. Turtle is very confused about the pick'em because he says he won last year. But little does he know that there was no prize last year. So this year matters more. And Methan's playing Madden. Nice. All right, let's get to it. Gronk spiked the like button. And let's begin picking football games for 2022. The first game of this season is the Buffalo Bills at the Los Angeles Rams in LA. Of course, every season, if you're new to football, every season the banner is unveiled, it is revealed, and we get to watch the Super Bowl champs from a year ago take on typically a contender, a competitor, a top-notch team. And this year, I feel like this is one of the best matchups we've seen in a while, because we have the Super Bowl champs who are not only the Super Bowl champs, but they're an NFC team. So it's actually a possibility that we could see the Super Bowl in the first game of the year. It's a possibility. We got the Los Angeles Rams at home taking on the Buffalo Bills. Boy, I love losing Super Bowls. That's how it's spelt. But they want to win a Super Bowl this year because they're favored to win the Super Bowl this year. And guys, everybody is picking them this year. Like, everybody. Like, your Uncle Tom is picking the Bills to win the Super Bowl. I literally have seen everybody pick the Buffalo Bills. I don't know. I think the entire NFL network picked the Buffalo Bills. Like, they didn't coordinate it at all, which was interesting. But we got the Buffalo Bills. We got the Los Angeles Rams. The Bills, as you can see, are favored by 2.5 points. So the first pick of the year, who am I going to pick? Let's break it down. I got to think about it first. Guys, I just come on here. I don't even know who I'm picking. I just come on here and I think about it and I talk about it and then I pick it. So for the Buffalo Bills, offensively, we've got Josh Allen, beast, one-man show, one-man wrecking crew. He's got around him Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, Dawson Knox with a fresh new contract, an offensive line that's looking to make a statement in week one. Roger Saffold is new to that mix. James Cook, could we see a bit of him? He's also new to the offense as a running back out of the second round of Georgia. Shout out to the national champion Ultra out there. We have a very good offense in Buffalo. Where I do think that Buffalo will be able to thrive is potentially the matchups with Gabriel Davis and possibly Dawson Knox. I'm not too sure how much they're going to have the running backs involved in the passing game, depending on how much they trust James Cook, because Singletary isn't much of a receiving threat, but we'll see in week one. But I think those are the two matchups that the Bills can take advantage of, is that number 2 corner on the outside for the Rams. Troy Hill's back in the nickel. I expect him to largely be on Isaiah McKenzie. And you would expect Jalen Ramsey to play Stephon Diggs a majority of the time. Not 100%, but a majority of the time. You could also see Ramsey, rotate into that star position, as they call it in their defense, in that nickel spot. So Bobby Wagner due to the Rams. I do think that the Bills will probably struggle to run the ball. A'Shawn Robinson, Aaron Donald, Greg Gaines, very strong front. Add Bobby Wagner in there. That's a very tough defense to run against. I think Allen will make a lot of plays, though. And I especially think that he'll make a lot of plays, extending and moving and, running around and finding his players on the scramble drill. No Von Miller after the Super Bowl. Obviously, he's on the other team, which makes this game, more interesting from that perspective. On the flip side of things, I do think we're going to, and this is perhaps the X factor of the game, is the new and improved pass rush of the Buffalo Bills. How's Von Miller going to look? And it's also taking on a new and probably not improved offensive line of the Los Angeles Rams. An offensive line that lost Andrew Whitworth. An offensive line that lost Austin Corbett. So, that being said, it's a new, not a lot of continuity offensive line taking on a bunch of athletes out there. Gregory Rousseau, I think, could take a huge jump this year. Ed Oliver's actually become underrated at this point. They've got a very deep rotation in Buffalo. I do think the Rams will stay pretty balanced in this game. I do think that we're going to see some Akers, we're going to see some Henderson, and I'm intrigued to watch Allen Robinson, especially without Tre'Davious White. I think, having Robinson and Kupp and the way that the Bills are going to have to treat Kupp, I think Allen Robinson is going to have to come through big in this game to win this game, because Tyler Higbee is probably not going to be able to win his matchup a ton versus Jordan Poyer or Matt Milano, which is, two of the better guys at stopping those tight ends. So I think that, Kupp's going to get his, but he'll largely be double teamed in the big situation. So Allen Robinson is going to have to make plays. This one is really difficult, but, because I'm on the Bills this year to be a very good team, I am not betting this game, by the way. I could easily see the Rams coming through, but with the questions about Stafford's injuries, and the new offensive line for the Rams, those things scare me a little bit offensively for the Rams. I could see them coming out a little slow, and if the Bills jump on them, I think that's an uncomfortable spot to be in for any team, for the Buffalo Bills to be ahead of you, because they just don't let go. It's like a snake. I mean, they just strangle you. So I've got the Buffalo Bills to win this game, and I guess I'll take them to cover as well. But like I said, this is not a game that I would be looking to bet. If I were to bet it, I would probably involve the Rams in a teaser. I think the game is going to be fairly close either way. So I'm going to go with the score being 27-23 Buffalo. Think it's a good game. It's back and forth. It's close, like I said. We'll see how rowdy the Rams crowd is as well, which is another X factor to the game, because the Rams don't have a great home field advantage. The Bills fans have to travel from, east to west to get there. So we'll see what that environment's like. There could be a lot of celebrities in attendance. We'll check it out. It will be fun, but I've got the Buffalo Bills there. I do think it could go either way, though. So, for this Rams fan in here that always thinks I bet against them and always thinks I hate them, I could see them winning the game. So there you go. Okay. The Sunday games. Let's begin with the game that I said is a best bet for week number 1, and that is the Baltimore Ravens -7. You probably know who I'm picking here, but there is a story, because not only do we have one elite quarterback in this game named Lamar Jackson, but we have 2 elite quarterbacks in this game named Joe Flacco, baby. We've got Joe Flacco taking on his former team, and who knows? Joe Flacco does play well in big games. He does play well in games where he wants to win badly. He is January Joe for a reason. Could Joe Flacco pull it out in New Jersey? Maybe, potentially, it could happen, but probably not. I think the Ravens are going to come out real strong this year. I think there's an energy from them, a little bit of a revenge tour vibe going on there. I really like this team. I think Rashad Bateman's going to have a huge year. I think it starts in this game. I think Mark Andrews, once again, is going to just rip apart this defense, as they don't really have any individual matchup that they can really put on Andrews to slow him down. Offensive line-wise, I think the Ravens are physical enough, tough enough to be able to deal with, a pretty good pass rush of the Jets. I would not underestimate the Jets' front 7. It is talented, and they've got plenty of players there. I think that could make life difficult on the Ravens in moments to run the ball, but I do expect Lamar to have success through the air. I'm also expecting some new wrinkles to their offense, as they've kind of been talking about throughout the training camp. Then we look at the defensive side of the football for the Ravens. I think it's just going to be really difficult for the Jets to score in this game and move the ball consistently. The Ravens have a very talented and deep secondary that can match up with the Jets' weaponry. We'll see who the primary target of the Flacco is. I think it will be Elijah Moore, as it's been, in the past when he's filled in. The Jets do have questions on their offensive line with Becton out, but I respect Dwayne Brown a lot. I'm not one of those people that just come on a show and this is a complete shot at like every mainstream media outlet out there. But I'm not just somebody that says, oh, this offensive lineman is hurt, so they've got nobody else that can play over there. No, that's not the case. Dwayne Brown played well last year. He's been in the NFL for a while. I expect him to come in and play well. On top of that, I think the Jets have a pretty underrated offensive line. Lincoln Tomlinson was added to that group this year. The Jets running back situation, Breece Hall, we'll see him for the first time. We'll see my boy Braxton Berrios. Tyler Conklin is expected to be their starting tight end. So yeah, they've got some players for sure, but I think the Ravens just are better schematically. I think the Ravens can stop the run of the Jets, which forces Joe Flacco into uncomfortable passing situations. He's very, very slow. I mean, he's the slowest guy in the league. He's not going anywhere. You know, we could see a big game from Bowser or Oweh in this one. So I'm going to go with the Ravens to win and the Ravens to cover. I will go with 27-13 for the Baltimore Ravens. Turtle is asking me if I'm doing stardom and sit 'em. So, Turtle, I got a little bit of a dilemma here, okay? So, I'm leaving tomorrow to Dallas. So, if you guys want to know and you guys are like, oh, Mitch is going to do his live streams on Sunday, I was actually going to give you an announcement, which I will still, and I'll probably tweet as well. I won't be doing any live streams this weekend, and the reason is because I'm not at home, so I don't have any of my gear. I'm also going to be at the Bucs game versus the Cowboys, so I won't be able to do that stuff. So my live streams during the Sundays will not start until week 2, and I probably also will do Thursday night next week just to make up for it on top of that, and then also kind of, you know, see how that vibe goes for this year, because I typically don't do Thursday night, but we'll see how it goes this year and see if that continues to be a thing down the road. In terms of stardom situm, I don't know if I'll be able to get it done by the time that I have to go. I still got a couple best bets videos to record and then edit a little bit, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I didn't do it last year, so it's not something that's at like the top of my agenda. If you guys really want it back, I've considered doing it for like a TikTok version of it, like very short, you know, crisp, like easy stuff, nothing too long or anything like that. But if you guys want me to do it, maybe I'd consider bringing it back. Okay, so that's the game for the Ravens. I've got 27-13 there in that one. The third game is the Baker Mayfield revenge game versus the Cleveland Browns. The game is in Carolina. Carolina is favored by 1.5 points, and this is versus Jacoby Brissett, so it's not, you know, no Deshaun in this one, obviously, for obvious reasons. If anybody does not know why, you're under a rock, bro. So, yeah, check yourself. The Carolina Panthers, I think, are starting to get a little steam to be this underrated underdog, you know, kind of potential sleeper team, I think is the right term. And I've always viewed them as that since getting Baker Mayfield. And I still view them as that. I think in order for that to happen, they have to win this game. I think they are, you know, looking at the matchup offensively for the Cleveland Browns, I do think that the Browns can run the ball in this game. They've got a strong offensive line. They've got a very good offensive line coach. I think they'll have some wrinkles, you know, to be able to run the ball against Carolina, especially, you know, on the outside of things, like especially to be able to hit those outside zone type of runs with Nick Chubb and potentially Kareem Hunt. So I do think that run game will be available. And then on top of that, I do think Jacoby Brissett, if that run game is available, he'll be more comfortable and in better situations to throw the ball. So I do think the Browns will find some success throwing the ball, but I don't think it's going to be like a lot. And if the Panthers surprise me and they do a good job against the run, then I think that opens it up for the Panthers to win this game pretty comfortably. But I don't think that's going to be the case. So I think the Browns are going to stick around. On the flip side, I think that Baker Mayfield will have some success in the game. I do question the new offensive line for the Panthers a little bit. It's more talented than last year, but like I said, with other units like the Rams, you know, it's a lack of continuity there. Ike Ekwonu, he's a rookie. He's going to be having to face, you know, Jadeveon Clowney or Myles Garrett, which I think is a little uncomfortable for Baker. But I think Baker's just going to have an edge in this game. I think he's going to, try to go that extra mile to make a play. I just feel like there's a desire for him, and I feel like that kind of affects the entire team, the entire roster, the coaching staff. They all want to win it for their quarterback, and I think that is a real thing. DJ Moore versus Denzel Ward is probably one of the more underrated matchups of the week. I do think Christian McCaffrey is going to have a good game in this one. I am wondering who's that secondary receiver that can step up for Baker in this matchup. I do think it helps Baker that he's familiar with the Cleveland defense, though. So that also helps because they're a fairly simple defense overall. So he's going to know their tendencies and probably their players. So in this one, I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers in a close, pretty defensive game. It's not going to be overly offensive, but I think the offense is largely going to come from the running backs in this game. And I will take Baker Mayfield. I'm rooting for him to win this game. I'm not a fan of the Browns this year, so I will be taking the Panthers. I think that narrative is a big one. Okay, the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. The Colts are favored by 7 in this matchup. Matt Ryan's first game as a member of the Colts will be on the road in Houston. I do think this is kind of like a sleeper, kind of, under the radar, could be a tight game. It's a divisional matchup. It's a Texans team that is largely disrespected. They came out really hot last year. They smacked the pants out of the Jags, and nobody really saw that coming. I think they put up like a 40 burger in that game, and I understand it was Jacksonville. The Colts are going to be coming out with energy as well. They have different expectations this year with Matt Ryan. I feel like, he has set the tone for that building. I think where he's at in his career, he realizes the urgency to be in a contending team and to win, and I think it's been a couple years since he's been able to say that. So there's going to be urgency from both teams. I think, from the Texans' perspective, it's going to be more like they're young, they're hungry, they're excited. And from the Colts, it's going to be like, yeah, we're the real deal this year. We're going to go out and we're going to prove it. So it's kind of two different perspectives. From one side of the ball, I think the Texans' offensive line is actually kind of underrated. I wouldn't be surprised if Davis Mills actually could throw the ball a bit in this game and make some throws in this game. I do think Nico Collins will have a good matchup in this one. Gilmore will probably be following Cooks around for the most part. And I do expect Nico Collins to work on that second perimeter corner, who is probably the weakness of this defense. Then you've got Brevin Jordan, some of the backs like Pierce and Burkhead. Will they be able to find any room versus the linebackers and the safeties of the Colts? That's a pretty good group for the Colts, so that's going to be tough. And the Colts have been pretty good versus the run overall, but I wouldn't underestimate the Texans' ability to run the ball. They're actually a pretty good team when it comes to running the ball, and they showcased that in the preseason. So I think the Texans, they could make this interesting early. And then you've got the other side of the football where you've got Matt Ryan with a new offense, a new coordinator, a new staff around him, a new weapon group around him. Will they come out slow or will they come out heavy? I do think that the Colts should be able to handle the Texans' pass rush fairly well. Jonathan Taylor has found a lot of success against the Texans over the past couple of years. And I do think that Michael Pittman, this receiver group, although I don't really know who it's going to be to pop off here as a secondary playmaker, I do think one of them will pop off, whether that's Paris Campbell, Alec Pierce, one of them. I do expect the Colts to win. I do expect them to take this one. I'm going to go with 28-20. I kind of feel like it's going to be a little closer than people think, but I'm still kind of hedging towards the Colts to cover. So the Texans are just frisky, man. They're just, they're just in it. They just got this thing about them. So I've got the Colts to win the game 28-20. Maybe it's a backdoor cover by the Texans potentially. But that is the way that I see that game. Next, we've got Jacksonville at Washington. This is a game that I think a lot of people, or at least smart people, because I'm putting myself in that category because I'm an egomaniac, I'm going to say that Jacksonville is a team that a lot of people are going to be picking as an upset special this week. And I do think that it's well warranted. There is a lot of bad reports coming out of Washington camp about Carson Wentz and how he's looking. That was followed up by a less than stellar preseason performance from him. The offensive line of Washington, I think, could be negatively affected by Carson Wentz's presence. As much as our boy Taylor Heineken, wasn't the greatest quarterback in the world, he could at least buy time, move around, kind of savvy, scramble around, do his best Gardner Minshew impression and get the ball out quick. With Wentz, the guy's going to hold on to the ball. If his first read's not there, he's going to run around in a circle. He's going to think he's still in 2017 with both knees in good condition when neither of them are in good condition. He's going to try to break 4 tackles. He's going to switch hands, and then he's going to throw the ball left-handed. So that is a mess. But Terry McLaurin, I think, will have a good game here as long as he can get the football. Jahan Dotson, I'm looking for him in this matchup versus potentially Darius Williams oftentimes in the slot. That's going to be intriguing to watch Williams in this defense and watch Dotson as a pro. But I do expect Jacksonville's pass rush to have a really good game here. I just really like it, how it looks on paper and how it feels. I just think there's something tangible about that preseason, and I like Jacksonville's front seven. So I think they're going to get pressure on Wentz, but I do think there's going to be a few big plays from Washington offensively that can kind of balance things out. Now on the flip side, we've got Trevor Lawrence, who... this is a guy in Trevor Lawrence who I was not overly high on coming into the NFL, but Trevor Lawrence is a guy that's never experienced losing. So you have to feel like if he's any sort of competitor, he's going to come out this year. He's going to come out hard. He's going to come out, focused, and he's going to want to prove to the world why he was that number 1 pick, why he was billed to be that generational talent. And I think that Trevor Lawrence should have a good game here. No Chase Young for the pass rush of Washington. I am worried about Jacksonville's offensive line a little bit, especially at tackle, but I think that is lessened by the loss of Chase Young. And I do think that the Jags have advantages when it comes to Travis Etienne facing those linebackers of Washington, who I think are less than stellar. And then also Christian Kirk taking on Washington's nickel corner, who is probably the weaker corner, out there for them, unless they decide to put Fuller in that position, which I doubt. So I actually like Jacksonville in this game. I think a lot of the matchups make sense for them, and I think they're going to win this one. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville 23-20. I think it'll be fairly defensive, but a little sprinkle of big play offense in the mix. And I'm going to take the guy that I think is going to be the better quarterback this year, and that is Trevor Lawrence. All right, well, here we go. The New England Patriots have already traveled to South Beach. They are already in Miami. They are getting geared up and ready to face Tua and the Miami Dolphins. You've got Pats Nation versus Tuanon. And this is going to be the game of the week for absolutely nobody except for probably Pats fans, Dolphins fans, and Bama fans. But other than that, I don't think anyone cares. We've got Mac Jones taking on Tua. We've got Tyreek Hill versus Bill Belichick once again, which is always a great matchup. We've got a Patriots team that everybody thinks sucks. Everybody. I mean, my dad texted me this morning, don't bet on the Pats this week. He's doubting them. The guys on ESPN are saying, what are they going to do this year on offense? And then we've got Vince Wilfork, who says Mac Jones is going to have a breakout year. I love Matty P. He's going to be the guy on offense. And I remember when he was on offense coaching when I was there. So Wilfork believes, but not many other people. Ultra certainly doesn't. I damn well know Bethel doesn't. So we've got the Patriots, we've got the Dolphins. So offensively for New England, breaking it down, I think that there is a possibility in this game that New England could come out and New England could spread it out and New England could throw the ball, especially short. Try to get the Dolphins a little off balance with some screen passes, some quick throws. Try to get them, if they're going to be overly aggressive, blitzing Mac and all that stuff and playing press man coverage, try to get those man beaters early, get the ball out quick, let Mac get comfortable for this season. And I think that's the best way to attack the Dolphins without Byron Jones in the lineup. I think the Dolphins' corner depth is rather weak. I think it is, it's really good. The top two are good. But then once you get past the top two and one of them being out, I think it's fairly weak. You could see potentially Devontae Parker have a revenge game unless he's covered by Xavier Howard the whole time, in which case, Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, those guys should really perform. And if they don't, we've got a problem, right? Hunter Henry, I think that'll be interesting to see how they match up with him in this game and how the Dolphins try to take him out of the game. I do think the Patriots will stay balanced, of course, as they always do. Expect Ramondre Stevenson to be heavily involved on the ground and through the air. Maybe even a little screen pass early to get him going, get him in space. But I do think the Patriots, offensively, to come out and have success, they're going to have to keep the Dolphins off balance and keep them uncomfortable and not allow them to be in situations where they can blitz Mac. And I think they can work those one-on-one advantages with Jacoby in the slot, with Aguilar or Bourne, facing whoever that number 2 is. So I like those matchups for New England. On the flip side, one more thing I got to say about the Patriots offense. Everybody's worried about the coordinator. I'm not too worried about that. I want to see how it goes in week 1. I think Mac is going to have more command at the line. I think he's going to be able to audible. I think he's going to be able to do things. They're going to have game plan plays, things that they didn't have in place in the preseason, that scared some folks out there. I think Mac's going to be in a good spot entering this game. And I do expect Bill to have a heavy influence on the offense for this game. Defensively, for New England, facing Tua, it's going to be weird because we don't really know what the Dolphins are going to come out with here. I do expect the Dolphins to probably try to run the ball early. That's something that they actually had success with. They were terrible running the ball last year, but they had success with against the Patriots in that final game last year. I expect them to come out and try to run the ball as Mike McDaniel or Shanahan would, which that's largely influenced from him. And so did Belichick say, this is a Shanahan offense we're facing this week. That's what I expect to see. So expect to see a lot of runs, expect to see a lot of outside zone. The Dolphins trying to take advantage of potentially what the Patriots' weakness was last year of speed at the second level and try to test that out. So Kyle Duggar, those guys, McMillan, Bentley, they're going to have to be key to stopping the run in this game. And then you've got Tua, expect to see him on the move through some play action stuff, get him comfortable, throw some screens and some RPOs to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, get them involved early. I expect the Patriots to probably double Tyreek a lot of the time with some combination of rather Marcus Jones or Jonathan Jones and Devin McCourty. I could also see them going with Jonathan Jones on Jalen Waddle. I could see that as well, or Jalen Mills, depending on where Waddle is lined up. But I expect a double team on Hill a lot of the time because that's just the way that Belichick has played him in the past. But it's a little bit different because I don't think that Bill will be as worried about the deep ball because Tua is not a great deep ball passer in comparison to Mahomes. And a lot of what Mahomes did was run around and make plays scrambling. So this one's tough, man. I actually think this is going to be a really good game. 3.5, I think the Patriots could use that spread as a big-time chip on their shoulder entering this game. I honestly woke up, and I even told the Discord, I've got a feeling the Patriots are going to win, but I said I'm not going to pick them. You know why I'm not going to pick them? Because I don't need to. I don't need to pick the Patriots. The Patriots are underdogs. Nobody thinks they're good. Everybody thinks they suck. So I'm just going to pick the Dolphins. 24-21. I'm going to pick the Dolphins to win the game, but the Patriots are going to cover by a field goal. Expect it to be close. I'm picking the Dolphins because Pats fans, you got to embrace this, Pats fans. You've got to embrace it. The Patriots are underdogs. We're playing with house money. Nobody thinks we can win. Not a single soul. So we might as well go out there and expect the Dolphins to win. And if we win, that's great. But we're in the house of horrors in Miami. No, again, just let it be. Let it be. Okay? I've got the Dolphins winning that one. The next game is the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. The Saints are favored by 5.5 in this game, which is a very odd spread for this game. Usually you don't see 5.5 in a game where I feel like Atlanta is a team that everyone thinks sucks. And then I've seen actually a surprising amount of Saints hype recently, especially recently, with some big names picking the Saints not only to win the division, but to win a playoff game or two, which is highly surprising, and I totally disagree with that. But we've got the Atlanta Falcons, who are pretty bad. And I don't know what's up with Drake London. I hope he plays. I hope he does. And I think that is big for them, not only just because he's a good player, but I think that changes the matchups, right? I think it's intriguing to see what happens with Kyle Pitts if Drake London doesn't play. You know, does Marshawn Lattimore cover Kyle Pitts if Drake London doesn't play? Because if Drake London does play, you would expect Lattimore to take that matchup, as Lattimore typically follows the number one receiver fairly often. So that's something that could change this game just schematically and in matchup-wise. If Lattimore is not covering Kyle Pitts and Kyle Pitts stays to the inside of the formation, I think that is a matchup that the Falcons could definitely expose in this game. I definitely feel like, with Malcolm Jenkins retiring and with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson getting traded, those are the two guys that matched up with tight ends most frequently in New Orleans and did a very good job of that. So I wonder if the Saints have a new guy to defend tight ends. Will it be Tyrann Mathieu? My only problem with Tyrann Mathieu is he's like 5'2", so I don't think he'll really be able to win jump balls against Kyle Pitts. So I think that's a huge disadvantage in that regard. Marcus May, I don't know what's going on to him. So that's interesting to me. Atlanta, though, I don't expect them to run for a lick of yardage in this game, like negative yards. Marcus Mariota, if he could figure out some run game scheme in this one, Jalen Hurts, we've seen running quarterbacks have some success against the Saints over the past couple of years. So that could be a trick up the sleeve of the Falcons that they could bring out here. That is intriguing, at least, about the matchup. So that's kind of where I see. I see a big Kyle Pitts game, and I see a lot of targets for him, and I see Marcus Mariota running the ball. And then on the other side, I've got the Saints offense. It will be interesting to see Michael Thomas. Is he at full health? Is he ready to go? Who will he be matched up with? Will AJ Terrell follow him around, or will he not? Typically, Terrell doesn't follow receivers that much, but that's why it's intriguing. Michael Thomas could stay on the slot and probably work that way, but that's not typically. If Thomas is going to play outside, that's going to give him a little bit more of AJ Terrell, but Casey Hayward is expected to play on the other side, so that's interesting too. So we're going to have some good corner receiver matchups. Michael Thomas, AJ Terrell, Casey Hayward, and potentially Chris Olave. So that's some good stuff there. But I think that the Saints can run the ball a little bit in this game, establish the line of scrimmage, get Kamara going. The Falcons are fast at the second level. That's an area where they'll be able to cover Kamara out of the backfield fairly well. So I don't expect him to have a huge receiving day, but more of a running day. I do think Jameis, we'll see what he looks like coming off the injury. I really don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Dean Pease blitzes him a little bit early in the game to see how he deals with that, especially coming off an ACL injury. But I think Jameis should have some success with the weapons now that he has at his disposal. No Sean Payton there calling plays, new coordinator there. But the Saints are just such a more talented team on paper. I don't think the matchup is overwhelming for New Orleans, though. I don't think this is a matchup where they just overwhelm the Falcons in terms of X's and O's. I think this is more so just like a talent thing, a depth thing. I believe in the Saints to make the playoffs this year. So I think they've got to win this game in order for that to happen. I've got the New Orleans Saints to win by 4. Surprisingly, I've got the Falcons covering this game in an NFC South rivalry game. And we have seen Atlanta play well against the Saints and make things competitive and feisty. Even last year we saw that. So I've got the Falcons to cover, but I will take the Saints to win the game. Next, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Detroit Lions. The Eagles are favored by 4 points in this one. This is a best bet of the week. I've got the Eagles favored by 4 in this game. And I think the Eagles should win comfortably based off of an explosive offensive performance from Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. This passing game is going to start off hot. I think that the Eagles will be able to protect Hurts. I think Hurts will be able to hit his underneath checkdowns against a lot of zone coverage. I think Hurts will be able to find his matchups one-on-one when they go man coverage. I think that Hurts is going to throw the ball and have success. When they go to run the ball with Jalen Hurts, I think that it's going to be a problem for the Lions sideline to sideline. Their second level is not very good. I also think it's going to be difficult for them to match up with Dallas Goedert in the middle of the field. I just see the Eagles lighting up the scoreboard in this one. I think this is going to be, if the Lions stay in the game and make this one close, they're going to have to score. On the other side of the ball, I think that the Lions can protect, which is a rare thing. I don't think that the Eagles are going to struggle getting to the quarterback very often this year. But I think in week 1, the Lions have an offensive line that can negate the strength of the Eagles defensively. But that being said, the Eagles still have some good players in the secondary. So you look at Darius Slay potentially matching up with DJ Chark. That's probably a good matchup for Slay in that one. St. Brown should be able to get his here and there. You're going to put Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to test facing TJ Hawkinson this week. But I'm intrigued to see the new Eagles defense, how their personnel potentially changes what they do on the back end. That will be intriguing to me. But I do think that the Eagles will stop the run. I think it comes down to Jared Goff throwing the ball and having some success there. I think he'll be sporadic. I think he will have success. They will drive the football occasionally. I just don't think it will be consistent enough in this one. I think the Eagles are a very good team. I don't think the Lions are a very good team. A lot of people think the Lions are going to upset the Eagles or they're going to make this one close. I don't think it will be that close. I think it will be somewhat competitive, but not competitive enough. I got the Eagles 31-20 in this game. Okay. Next, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are favored by 6.5. This one was tough because at first I was thinking about it. I'm like, 100% the Bengals. 100% the Bengals are going to win. And then when I looked at 6.5, I was like, this number is real tricky. Like, I could see the Steelers covering this game. It's an AFC North matchup. It's a divisional game. It's Mike Tomlin, first week of the year. What type of wrinkles is Brian Flores going to bring to the table to face Joe Burrow and company here? But then you think about the matchup. The Bengals have dominated the Steelers. They're basically their dads. There's difficulty in the secondary for the Steelers to match up. The Bengals got a new offensive line. Maybe they protect better. But then again, Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt, they're going to test that from week 1. Can Joe Mixon run the ball in this game? Maybe, maybe not. I think the Bengals will have a good amount of success in this game through the air, but I don't think it will be consistent. I think the Steelers' pressure will get there occasionally, which will cause some fits for the Bengals. On the flip side, we don't really know what to expect from Mitch Trubisky and company. We don't know what to expect from the offensive line, facing a pretty good pass rush in Cincy, but not a great one, right? Not a great one. They've got a lot of weapons here. The Steelers should be able to find a matchup that they like here. Najee Harris will probably be still running for -5 yards a carry. So I'm not too worried about that if I'm a Bengals fan. I just have a weird feeling that the game is going to be kind of close, but I do think the Bengals are going to pull it out. I do think that the Steelers are going to come with some hunger, and I do get the sense that they're going to come out hard early, and the Bengals are going to have to come from behind or something. Like, I think they're going to start a little slow. I think the Bengals are going to start slow. This is just intuition, okay? I've got 27-21 Cincinnati in this game. I think the Steelers cover, but I think the Bengals win the game. Next, I've got the San Francisco 49ers as a best bet this week, playing an offensive line that's made up of Lenny and his high school teammates of the Chicago Bears. I'm not too worried whether George Kittle suits up or not, because Brandon Ayuk is going to show out and show up big in this game. 2 tutties for Brandon Ayuk from Trey Lance in this game. Expect Trey Lance to get the ball on the ground more than a few times. Kyle Shanahan's going to have wrinkles up his sleeve. He's going to be just dealing out there. Dealing. So I expect the Niners pass rush to dominate this game. Nick Bosa, 3 sacks on Justin Fields. Fred Warner taking on Cole Kmet. The Niners have traditionally been, the last couple of years, one of the top teams at taking away tight ends. The Niners now have Charvarius Ward to match up with Darnell Mooney, which I think Mooney will win sometimes, but not often. Enough for them to win, I should say. I just don't trust the other pieces on this offense. I don't think that the Bears will be able to run the ball a ton. And I think the game might get away from them too quickly. There is an element of this game that I do think favors the Bears, and it is the fact that their defense is very much based in the Seattle scheme, which is a defense that has played Shanahan well in the past. And the reason for that is because it's extremely simple, to the point where Seattle knows what can attack them. There's not that many things that can attack their defense. When you can attack their defense, you know what can beat your defense already. So you know how to adjust based on those things. You know, Shanahan initially destroyed it early in those days with the Falcons and the Niners. And then, you know, when the Seahawks figured out what he was doing, they kind of situated to that. So I'm intrigued to see how the run game opens things up for the passing game of the 49ers. But I do think that the Niners win this game comfortably. I've got it 28-10 for the San Francisco 49ers. They win, they cover, they start off strong. Okay. Let's get a sip of water. What do we have here? Who's chatting in the chat? What's up, Big Al? Timothy, what's up? Singh is in the chat. Bethel, he's got the Bears with the upset. He's the worst picker in the world. Rams, what's up, man? Turtles got a very similar score. Bengals, Steelers. Singh, Robbie, what's up, Robbie? How you doing? Hatter's House, what's up? Ultra is not on his Falcons this week. The next game is the Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings in the game that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. In one corner, we've got a Minnesota Vikings team who's got all the weapons in the world. In the other corner, we've got the Green Bay Packers, who we don't know who their weapons are at wide receiver. We don't know if Rob Tonyan's healthy. We don't know if Randall Cobb is dust. We don't know if Sammy Watkins is going to be able to make it through the game. We've never seen Christian Watson play in an NFL game. We don't know if Romeo Dobbins is going to be able to do anything. Aaron Rodgers, 2-time, 3-time, 4-time MVP. It doesn't really matter. I don't know. I do think that Rodgers is going to do his thing. I mean, he's going to be on some different type of drugs, but he'll figure it out. He'll see things clearly in the end. And I do think Rodgers is going to have a good game here. I do think he's going to have a good game here. I do think they'll be able to protect him here. I do think if the Vikings are going to play a lot of zone, that Rodgers will find his guys. I do think he'll be able to. And I think Matt LaFleur, versus a new coach, Matt LaFleur's got to prove that he's a good coach in this game. I mean, a good coach should beat a new coach like Kevin O'Connell. With Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback, by the way. So, I mean, it's tough to go. It's tough to pick this game. On the other side, the Vikings are very talented. I like what they've done this offseason. I think they're a good team. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I like their home field advantage. I think the fans are rowdy. I think that their pass rush is better. Danielle Hunter, Zadarius Smith. I think that Justin Jefferson and Jair Alexander is going to be a great matchup. I think that Adam Thielen could have a good game in this one versus Rasul Douglas, or potentially the other kid, Stokes. I think Adam Thielen's going to score a touchdown, as he always does. I think Dalvin Cook will find some success, and Cousins has played really well against the Packers recently. So, I don't know, man. I think this game is going to be a little bit higher scoring. I think it's going to be a little bit back and forth. I think it could go either way, but it's in Minnesota, and I am going to take the Vikings. I think these two teams will likely split this year, so I'm going to give the Vikings the home field advantage and the W 27-23, and they will upset the Green Bay Packers in week number 1. All right, here we go. We've got the Raider Nation. The autumn wind has returned versus the Chargers. So we've got the Chargers and the autumn wind taking on each other in an AFC West, ever important. I understand it's week 1. It is an important game. These games matter in this division. And it might come down to this game for who makes the playoffs. Period. Okay? This game could go either way. I'm probably not going to bet it. If I do bet it at all, I'll get to what I would bet. Okay? Let's talk about it. So, offensively for the Chargers, what I like about them in this game is the continuity they have. They have a second-year offensive coordinator. They have Justin Herbert comfortable in the system now with Keenan Allen, who's healthy, Mike Williams, who's healthy, Josh Palmer, who's healthy, an offensive line, which is largely the same as last year outside of a rookie guard. Austin Eckler's healthy. They brought in Sony the winner, Michelle. The Chargers, as long as they can protect in this one, which I do wonder if that will be consistent, even if they can't protect extremely well, Herbert has proven that he can provide time for himself. He can run around. He can scramble. He can make moves. He can make throws. The X factor to me in this game is Josh Palmer. I think he's the X factor. I think that he's going to need to make some plays. I actually think that the Raiders' corners are being heavily underrated. And I do think that Crosby and Chandler Jones are going to cause some issues in this game. So I think Herbert's going to make plays, a bunch of them, especially on the scramble drill. But the Raiders will make some plays too. I could see this being a highly dramatic, there could be a couple turnovers in this game too. On the flip side, you've got Derek Carr leading the Las Vegas Raiders to Los Angeles, a place where the Raiders fans, the Raider Nation, the stands will be full of silver and black. They'll be full of the Raider paint and masks and pirate gear. I think the Raider Nation's going to take over LA. But Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, that's a problem, man. That Raiders O-line's going to get a test right off the bat. Right off the bat. But what does help them is no J.C. Jackson in this game. Davante Adams will be facing Michael Davis or Asante Samuel instead of one of the best corners in the NFL. That's huge for the Raiders in this game. McDaniels, how crisp, how ready is this offense in week 1? Darren Waller versus Derwin James, you gotta believe it. Bryce Callahan versus Hunter Renfrow, you gotta believe that. I think Hunter will still make plays, by the way. One big play from Mac Hollins is a potential possibility. And expect McDaniels to run the ball in this game. Expect Josh Jacobs to get a heavy dose in this game. I do think he's going to test that run defense. And he's going to stretch the Chargers thin a little bit, having to potentially double team Davante Adams and have an extra guy in the box to be able to defend that run game. So, I think this game is a field goal game either way. Either way, it's a field goal game. I'm going to take the Raiders to win this game, upset the Chargers. And the reason I'm going to is because of that Davante Adams, J.C. Jackson non-matchup. J.C. Jackson's out. I think that is the deciding factor. I think Davante Adams has a huge game. I wanted to make him the thumbnail, okay? I wanted to make him the thumbnail, but I couldn't because I couldn't find a good picture of Davante Adams in a Raiders uniform. But that won't be a worry after this game because he's going to have plenty of pictures. He's going to have plenty of touchdowns to choose from. I'm going to go with the Raiders. Last second Carlson field goal to win the game on the last drive. And don't worry, Chargers fans. You'll be fine. You'll probably beat them in the next game, so don't worry about that. All right. Next, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Arizona Cardinals in what's one of the highest totals of the week. You've got Mahomes taking on Kyler. You've got Texas Tech taking on the Texas boy himself, Kyler Murray. Turtles boy. Mahomes, Kyler. That's going to be good. You've got Cliff versus Mahomes boy. Now, I think the Chiefs should win this game, and I think they should win this game fairly easily. But I also think that Kyler Murray is going to make some absolutely stupid plays and keep the Cardinals in this game. He's going to run around with his head cut off like the road runner. You know, George Karlaftis, like the slug he is, won't be able to catch up. Frank Clark, who should be in a retirement home, won't be able to catch up to the road runner. AJ Green is probably going to moss somebody looking like 2014 out here. I think the Cardinals are going to score points on the Chiefs' refreshed defense. Okay? And I think that you're going to see some new stuff from Rondale Moore. They're going to get him the ball, screens, runs. They're going to get Marquise Brown's going to get spammed in this game. And I also think the Chiefs will be able to move the ball very well in this game. I think the Chiefs are going to have full command, and I think that's why I lean towards the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to be able to play at their pace of play. I think Mahomes is going to be at the line of scrimmage. He's going to be doing his weird, audible things that he does. He's going to be talking like Kermit at the line of scrimmage, and then we've got Travis Kelce doing his thing. That will be intriguing to watch. Does Budda Baker take him on? Does Isaiah Simmons take him on? Who's covering Travis Kelce? How do the new receivers look? Expect a long touchdown to Valdez-Scantling in this game. I think the Chiefs, I just got too much confidence in the Chiefs' offense in this game to pick against them. I'm going 34-27, Kansas City. Give me the cover for the Chiefs, just barely, though. I don't know. That one doesn't make me super, super confident, but I got the Chiefs. I don't love the Cardinals this year. I don't think they're very good. The Tennessee Titans hosting the New York Football Giants. Daniel Jones and the Giants take on Ryan Tannehill and the Titans. The probably most viewed game of week 1 this year will be this game right here. And I am absolutely dead serious, quite obviously, about that statement. We've got Saquon back. We've got Kadarius Toney, hopefully healthy. But he's still got 24, 30, how many hours? I don't know, 64, more than that probably. Hours to get hurt still, so I don't know. We'll see. The Giants, new and improved offensive line. But, man, this is just too many points. This is too many points to me. The Titans are going to struggle to score 20 points against the BC Lions this year. So I'm not taking them to cover this game. But I will respect Mike Vrabel to win this game. I will respect the King. I will respect the Titans defense, which I'm high on. And I will take the Titans to win. But I'm not expecting them to score very many points. 20 points is pushing it here for the Tennessee Titans. I've got 20-17 Tennessee. Expected to be close. Expected to be low scoring. Okay. 2 games left. By the way, guys, for the rest of the schedule, the rest of the week, we've got best bet totals coming out tomorrow. We've got best bet parlays coming out on Friday. We've got a probably a bunch of TikToks, a bunch of shorts coming soon, but one for sure that's already locked and loaded, ready to go. That's coming out as well. Turtle wants to see start him, sit him. I don't know if I have any time to do that, but we'll see about that. So we've got all that stuff coming very soon. So if you're looking for more best bets, don't you worry. I got you. Don't you worry. All right. Tampa Bay at Dallas. I am at the game. I'm going to be repping a TB12 Tampa Bay jersey. I will be watching this game, and I will be probably tweeting during the game, talking about how great Julio looks, going off for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. The bold prediction is that Julio Jones will lead this game. Not just the Bucs, not just the Cowboys. This game, Julio Jones will lead this game in receiving, and he will toast Brown all day long. All day long. Julio's going big. And then we've got Chris Godwin. Will he play? I don't know. I don't know if he will or not. I hope he does. I'd like to see him play. I'd like to see him live. All that stuff. I expect to see a lot of Mike Evans and Trayvon Diggs matching up. I expect Brady to throw a double move or 2 or 3 or 4 or 8 at Trayvon Diggs. I do expect the big storyline to be the Cowboys pass rush versus the Bucs offensive line. I do expect Dallas to line up DeMarcus Lawrence inside if they're smart at all, because that's the only way they're going to get to the quarterback here. I think Parsons, a lot of people, he's going to be awesome this year, but this is a game that I trust the Bucs tackles. I like Tristan Wirfs a ton. I think he's the best right tackle in the game, and Donovan Smith's really good too. If I'm Micah Parsons, I'm lining up against Donovan Smith a lot. That's the chance to get to Brady. But I think Lawrence is the X factor for the Cowboys. If the Cowboys are close in this game, it's because DeMarcus Lawrence in the interior pass rush has a good game. Otherwise, I think Brady's going to have good... I think he's going to be able to make plays. I think he's going to be able to move the ball. I think he's going to be able to go up and down the field. I think Fournette is going to be able to run the ball a little bit. A lot of people are saying this is going to be defensive. I don't know. If the Cowboys are going to win, I think it has to be defensive. But I don't think... If the Bucs win, I think they can win in any way. I think Brady's still going to move the ball here. On the flip side, I think that it's gonna be interesting to see what the Cowboys decide to do. Obviously, their game plan last year was to just pass a cajillion times and throw the ball, as quickly as possible and beat the Todd Bowles blitzes. Sean Murphy Bunting went down early in that game, I remember. That game last year was insanely wacky, too. It was entertaining. It was very entertaining. I think that Zeke's going to struggle to run the ball. You got Big Vita Vea and Akeem Hicks in there. You're going to have a pass rush of the Bucs taking on Tyler Smith's going to move to left tackle. No Tyron Smith. Unless Jason Peters plays. I don't know. So that's questionable, I guess. I just think the difference in the game is Brady with the weapons he's got. And I think the Bucs have more favorable defensive matchups in this game because I think they're going to be able to rush the passer a little bit and stop the run really well. And I think that's going to force Dak, into tough spots. And I think that's going to force Dak to look for CD, who's often going to be double covered. And I don't think there's anybody else on Dallas who can really win their matchups consistently in this game. Like, unless somebody shocks me, I just don't really know. Like, I don't think Dallas has anybody else who could consistently beat the coverage of the Bucs. So would I be? I kind of hope it's close because I'm at the game. I hope it's close, but I do think the Bucs should win this game by about 7 to 10 points. So I'm gonna take the Bucs 27-17 in this game. I think their defense is gonna come out hard. I think they're gonna come out strong, and I think they're gonna win this game. I still think people are underestimating Tom Brady for the 24th year in a row. So I've got the Bucs 27-17 in that game. And then the Monday Night Football matchup, we've got the Denver Broncos versus the Seattle Seahawks. And to go back, because some people are saying, Jonathan said 31-28. Bethel says 27-17. Some guy I've never heard of says I'm on crack, 27-17. He says Tampa goes down. I don't know how. I don't know. I'd be pretty surprised if Dallas scores more than like 24 points, to be honest with you. I think that would be slightly surprising in my opinion. I think if Dallas wins, it's going to be because their defensive line has a really good game and they win like 24-21, something like that. I think the Bucs could win. If the Bucs start on offense early and they're on fire, I think it's going to be really hard for the Cowboys to win. All right, so the final game of the week is the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. This is a good storyline game. You've got Pete Carroll taking on Russell Wilson. You've got Russell Wilson returning home to Seattle. You've got two guys that are very familiar with each other. How does that fare in this game? But overall, I don't think it matters that much because I think the Broncos are just way more talented than the Seattle Seahawks. I think it's going to be tough for Seattle to win this game. It's going to be tough for Seattle to cover this game. I think Russ also, a lot of people, Russ is one of those guys. I really respect Russ for his competitive nature. He's got a chip on his shoulder. A lot of people are underestimating, Russ entering this season. A lot of people are talking down to Russ entering this season, not saying he's elite anymore, talking shit to him. So I think that Russell Wilson could have a big game here and could make a lot of plays and flash that old prime Russell Wilson that we didn't see as much last year. I think you could see a big game from the receivers as well. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton could have big games in this game. They both will have good matchups. And I think it's going to be tough for the Seahawks to move the ball a lot. I think they're going to have to try to run the ball early and often. If they can't, I think it's going to force them into some tough spots. Tyler Lockett maybe could find some spots to work, but you'd expect to see the young Pat there to take on DK. That will be a good matchup. I just think the Broncos are a lot better. There's not a lot of special ingredients or anything that goes in this game. I just think the Broncos are a lot more talented. So I'm going to take Denver 31-17. Could there be the emotions? Could the 12s, turn into 2013 form and take the roof off the place, which there is no roof? Maybe. Potentially. Could that be interesting? I hope it's a close game. I hope it's one of those dramatic Russell Wilson games where he's doing nothing for 3 quarters and it's really boring. And then all of a sudden we get the fourth quarter. That's the most insane fourth quarter you've ever seen in your life. That's most Russell Wilson games. I hope we see that game, but I don't think we will, unfortunately. So I've got the Broncos to win and the Broncos to cover that game as well. Okay. There it is, guys. Your week 1 pick'em. Your week 1 picks. Your week 1 picks straight up against the spread. Expect more best bets coming very soon. Like I said, Thursday, Friday, coming out hot. All right, so subscribe, Gronk spike the like button. Thank you for the support. I hope you guys are with me all season long. And a reminder that I will not be streaming this weekend. I will not be streaming the Patriots game. You know what I might do is I might go live on my phone if I can to talk about the Patriots game after the game. Like a recap. Like an old-fashioned Kevol recap. I might do that. We'll see, though. Thank you guys for watching. It's Mitch. Peace.